Soda, a 19-year-old university student, on a fateful day was working seriously, selling hot dogs in a supermarket. He advertised the new Sanjin pork sausages, which is a perfect choice for kids and for convenience. Soda showcased his skills as a great talker and advertiser, amassing a crowd on easily selling his products. That night his manager compliments him for being a great employee. Soda explains that giving customers helpful suggestions is crucial, like recommending it for their children. Having this kind of skill is what he considered special, as back then he was mostly clumsy and lacking any real skills, which his manager taught him everything he knows. With various part-time jobs he accumulated a lot of experience and was able to adapt no matter where he worked. As the other employees bid farewell, Soda became startled, surprised by the other female co-workers he has. He silently bowed his head bidding farewell, which his manager pointed out his lack of experience with women, especially dealing with them. Soda explained that he gets nervous around them, but customers on the other hand is fine. Suddenly his manager proposed a request only for him. Soda questions this as it came out of the blue all of a sudden. The manager suddenly questioned him if he has any interest in summoning to another world. Soda is confused but understood the concept. Suddenly the manager whips out a time wand, asking him to be sent to another world to save it. Questioning the sudden situation as a magic circle suddenly appeared on his feet, he questions her on what does she mean being in another world. The manager officially introduces herself as Nostra, the Sage of Prophecy, bidding farewell as she wants him to use her abilities over there. In a sudden flash of light, Soda suddenly spawned in a wrecked place surrounded by defeated men. Questioning his situation, he suddenly got called out by someone. Upon glancing over, he was questioned if he was the hero. Soda, still not believing his circumstances, questions if he really got summoned. Soda, not paying attention as the demon knight suddenly swung his battle axe, almost seemingly hitting Soda as he shouts on not being the hero. Petrified by almost getting hit, the demon knight demands an explanation for his unfamiliar clothes and being in the middle of a magic circle. Soda panics and shivers in fear as he is really gonna die at this rate if he doesn't do something, as he wonders why his manager put him in a place like this. He understood the situation and calms down to talk and explain the situation. He suddenly talks about his clothes being the latest fashion, diverting the demon knight's hostility towards him. Soda showed confidence as customer service mode was put into action. The demon knight, on the other hand, wonders if a hero would converse with a demon, as he also looks frail and in poor body shape. There is no way he could fight or do harm. Coming to the conclusion that the hero already escaped, somehow managing to cover it up, he silently asks if he could go and slip away, but they suddenly stopped him. The demon knight wanted to ask a question as she took her armor. He is bewildered, finding out it was a female demon. She introduced herself as the Demon King's army commander. Upon mentioning the word girl, he suddenly almost faced heaven as her sword swung at him closely. The commander general ordered her men to take him to the Demon King castle as prisoner, which he silently complied. Soda panics in prison as he shouts his anger and frustration on being summoned in an unfortunate time and place. Wondering why he didn't spawn in a king's castle, going to the usual route with companions to fight the demon lord, a guard overheard this and told him to be quiet. Soda apologizes as he overlooks his damaged equipment, as his first priority is somehow to survive right now. Soda left with only a broken tablet and wallet. He became worried for his survival. Enraged, he questions why they didn't give him any special skills or weapons, much less abilities. A notebook suddenly pops out of his bag, questioning what it was doing inside his bag. Upon picking it up, the box of abyssal is written on it, with a glimmer of hope, as this might be a special item given to him, as summoning stories can't be complete without special power. Upon checking the contents of the book, he is surprised as it was a notebook he has when he was small in elementary school. Influenced by popular RPG games, he drew lots of it and showed it to his friends, showcasing his dark history and embarrassment for him. The notebook gave a hint of calling out for the item name and letting it appear. Not believing this, he couldn't help himself and called out for it, chanting the spell. To his surprise, the bottle of water came out with infinite water. As he was minding his business, the female general commander called out to him. The female general demanded he came out. Upon sitting down, he became nervous, seeing as how all the items in the room looked dangerous. Faced with the female general, he shockingly described her as being cute, never thinking that inside that armor could this be cute, being a girl and horns and a tail. thinking about it got him even more nervous. The female commander questions his gaze. She questions him even more about his name, which is Soda. The female commander wonders his purpose for being here. He wanted to use the excuse of passing by, but suddenly threatened by her axe, as she hates lies. Wondering why is he in a church special area for summoning hero to the human nation, as they received intel that a hero were being summoned, and at times like this it's not a place where unrelated people can just walk in, wondering what he is hiding. Soda trembles in fear, as if he is not careful his head will fly off. Seeing remaining silence is not the option, he questions why are they looking for the hero. The female commander explained that the hero is a dangerous individual and may do a lot of harm, as they are their natural enemies and will attack them carelessly. As a demon commander, she simply cannot ignore this, as she's here to protect the demon world and will defeat the summoned hero no matter what happens. As she explained the situation, she demanded he reveals his true identity. He introduces himself as a general store collecting strange items and materials for any type of problems, showcasing his summoning item skill. He used the excuse that he was delivering a super rare item used to summon the hero, but it broke into pieces after the hero was summoned. Understanding his excuse and situation, she questions a spell book that he summoned. Being a young teenage boy, he couldn't help get excited as she's suddenly close, getting nervous as the opposite sex gets close to him. Trying to calm himself down, he explained the content of his spell book. The female general commander suddenly snatched the book, showing her short temper as she can't understand the language written, as she seemingly convinced herself that he is trying to fool her. She casted a spell making his body on not being able to lie. As she swung her spell using her axe, Soda became petrified by her actions. From now on, he won't be able to lie to her anymore. If he told the opposite of the truth, his head will be separate from his body. As she stood gazing down towards him, she questions again who he is. But Soda, being the clever person he is, immediately stopped her as he questions her problem about her own smell, which for a moment of silence Soda wondered what happened. The female commander suddenly blushed as she became embarrassed, wanting to figure out how he got that information. He explained that he knows the truth from his spell book, and as such he presented a summoned item as a solution for a problem, calling it 99. She got frustrated over the name, calling it out as ridiculous. In reality, this was made by him in elementary, as he had horrible smell. He immediately pointed out her concerns as she asked. Not fully understanding his words, she somehow got a good feeling on what he's saying, as it would be really good if she tries it out. Soda wanted to gain her trust. He offered to give it for free. She stares at it thinking, why would he give it for free? And what's the point of being kind to a demon? Soda wants her to understand that as a businessman he is satisfied if she is happy with the items he offered, which is enough for him. Without putting race or kind in the table, there is no difference between consumers. Soda is still worried about the spell casted on him, but decided to power through. The female commander wanting to trust him, she wanted to try out the product, but she insists that he is the one to put it on for her, as she still can't give you her weapon and let go of it, as she doesn't trust him. As she sat down insisting he's the one to put it on for her, Soda suddenly became nervous, as this is the first time someone asked him to do that, let alone the opposite sex. Soda tried calming himself down and asks where to start, to which is surprised she suddenly lifts her armpit up, being nervous as she blushed with worry. Soda is bewildered by the sight in front of him. Although she warns him of doing something naughty, she won't forgive him. Soda describes this dangerous as touching such place of the opposite sex, which he doesn't have that experience even in part-time work he have done before, but as his hands were shaking he decided to power on through and put it on for her. Before starting, Soda wanted to make sure it's fine for him to do as he pleases. The general, wanting it to get over, asks him to do what he must. As he applied the ointment, she started to feel weird and do some naughty faces. Soda is still shaking, questioning his sense of morality, although he must do this in order to survive. As he applied on the other side, he closed his eyes, not wanting to witness it closely. Unbeknownst to him, his hand suddenly slipped, going inside of her clothes. Soda wondered what is the pointy small soft rocket he's holding. As he sloshes around and feel it, he opened his eyes, and lo and behold, he copped the female general, as SC is defenseless. The demon general didn't pay no mind, seemingly showed that she enjoyed it. Unbeknownst to him, his ointment has a special effect, making the person it's applied to become sensitive. Although a bit naughty, he thanked his elementary school self, managing to survive. Soda, on the other hand, is still kept locked up as he is accused of possessing powerful items that is unknown to them and may be potentially dangerous. As such, he is bound to stay locked up until further notice. Soda is worried but assured that they dislike pointless killings and appreciate Soda for helping her on the concerns she faced, leaving Soda confused about her gesture. As he was left alone, Soda felt relieved and breathes in hope that he won't be killed. The female commander flashbacks to the humans she faced before labeling her indiscriminately as a monster and a cursed being, although with Soda she faced happiness and felt warm due to his kidness. Even though Soda is a human, he wonders what is up with him as he doesn't treat her badly compared to the other humans. Sita, on the other hand, is checking the contents of the book as his likability went up. This likability feature is a skill which, if he could raise someone's likability level to the max towards him, he will be able to make them his ally. Not knowing much and therefore didn't know what to do, his only goal right now is to make use of his powers and make allies as a way to return to his world.
The story continues as we flash back to when Soda was a kid at elementary. He always enjoyed drawing imaginary items. This prompted him to be approached by a fellow classmate, a girl, praising him for his silly drawing items. This also made her become his first love. And one day he accidentally found a profile book which was popular among girls. The girl rejected, hearing the suggestion she liked Soda, as in no way she could ever fall in love with a stupid boy who draws such childish things, which was very shocking to hear for Soda, as the true meaning of her words of praise before was seeing him as a weird kid who draws silly items, making Soda's heart broken as to why he made the see-through scope, and that book would let him see a person's true feelings and level of affection towards him. This is also the incident which became uncomfortable talking casually with the opposite sex, showing trauma, and after he became a junior high school student, the notebook full of drawings became a dark memory on his life, and the book was sealed away in a box and hid deep in his closet, bidding farewell to the cringe memories. We go back to Soda as he still can't believe that the Book of Abyss has also been transferred with him to another world. Soda still doesn't understand why he has this notebook to his power, even though it's embarrassing for him to use but doesn't have any choice. He ponders what is the manager wants him to do in this world, as she ultimately mentions saving the world. Although Soda wants to find a way to return to the world Earth where he came from, however he got captured and taken to the demon castle right after being summoned, which he doesn't know about, as his current goal right now was to find two powerful allies and get information about this world. First and foremost, he needs to increase Fafner's likability, which behind him she questions what he needs to do with her, scaring Soda and being blamed for not noticing her. The Dragon Squad captain is named Fafner, and she's the one who brought Soda to the Demon Castle, which Soda yesterday obtained her profile detailing that she has 20% profitability towards him. Soda thought of her as someone who had a serious and responsible personality. She's also sensible and tries to listen to him even though they are sworn enemies. Add to the fact he finds her cute, and if he hadn't been summoned to this world, she wouldn't even have any connection with him to begin with. This immediately reminded him of the activities they both indulge in, making him blush and embarrassed. Soda brushes this off as he sees her as a customer, although Fafner's likability suddenly went down as she stares at him with dangerous intent, thinking maliciously of his actions, planning to do something to her. Soda became in danger as the spell casted on him suddenly activated, urgently thinking of an excuse as this spell casted on him doesn't allow him to tell any lies, which if he did will result in death. Soda understands the situation. He mumbled a lame excuse with Fafner demanding an immediate answer, not finding the mark on his neck, not activating, which is probably not a lie. As such, Fafner let him out of his cage as his punishment has been decided. Soda didn't expect to be chained to a heavy metal ball, trying his best to drag it on. Although he ponders questioning why doesn't she trust him, Fafner didn't pay this in mind as Soda stated of not running away, asking for the chains to be taken off, although Fafner clearly stated it's a rule for him. Fafner saw the situation and decided to help him out, shocking Soda as he called her super, being surprised as to how she easily lifts something so heavy. Although this was the norm for the even in their trainings, Soda praises her for being awesome as the captain of the Dragon Corps, making her happy and full of pride as her tail wagged. As Soda enters the Demon King's castle, he noticed looking out the window that the whole castle is dim and dark, not being able to tell if it's daytime or afternoon. Fafnir explains that unlike the human land, the demon world is covered in thick clouds and the sunlight doesn't reach. Shortly after they arrive to Soda's room, as from now on he will have to work here as her servant. Soda questions this, wondering why. The Demon King and her ultimately decided to keep him close, as it would be convenient for her to keep an eye on him as her servant. Assigned with various tasks, he suddenly noticed something in the room which caught his eye. Soda decided to pick up a book. Shocked this discovery, he thought he could try reading and understand more about this world, although the letters are from this world which he didn't understood a single bit. But surprisingly, an image of a woman, which looks like the manager in Earth that had sent him to another world. Fafnir pointed out her name is Sage Nostra, which he questions if she's famous. She describes Sage Nostra as an extraordinary being with a massive magical powers, as she could utilize this by traveling across multiple worlds. Due to her unpredictable nature, very few people only have seen her true form, as there are countless myths about her that have been passed down through generations, which she left an ancient prophecy behind stated when the world falls into disaster due to war, summoned hero will arrive to save the world. Soda finally understood that his manager was from another world with exceptional image. Fafnir is proud, as they easily conquered the place where the hero was summoned, claiming to be victorious. Although Soda is nervous, as this is again a close-up encounter with the opposite sex, claiming that Fafnir smells good and is mesmerized by her long eyelashes, admitting that it's his first time he has seen such a cute person so closely, which made him tremble. Fafnir questions what does he have in mind, but unbeknownst to him, Soda accidentally places his hands on her breasts, claiming it's like touching the marshmallows of a pregnant woman, which Fafnir suddenly became flustered as. Soda begs for apology towards the situation. She pointed out that he deliberately did this on purpose. Although he denies this as a woman, she fires back that he discriminates on touching demons. Soda suddenly shouted that she is such a cute girl, prompting him to act like that near her, which obviously shocked Fafnir at this point, stunning him with the Riz words. She suddenly raised her battle axe towards him, which made Soda feared his life, as he got scolded, asking him not to say that towards her. But suddenly they are interrupted as the lights go out. The sudden blackout is caused by the lamp running out of oil. Soda, on the other hand, thought this was a good opportunity, having the perfect item for this situation, as he also noticed her likability level went down towards him, and it's the perfect opportunity to raise this. Although she's not a girl who he can easily win over, he decided to shoot his shot anyways and summon a glowing light of ball, making Fafnir taken by surprise. This light is made by Soda's little version, drawing it for his mother on Mother's Day, as he hears all the complain that she couldn't hang out the laundry during its rainy seasons, making it convenient for her. Soda showcased this item being used for thick atmosphere like the demon world. Lighting up brightly, Fafnir piqued her interest in this item, finding this item strange, as she never had any experience seeing this close to sunlight, even though it's not the real thing. Being mesmerized by the sunlight, Soda awaits for her full reaction. She finds this fluffy and squishy, which Soda couldn't believe. She finds too much joy being so defenseless. Seemingly, she looks like a reptile sunbathing that reminds him when he worked part-time at a pet shop, remembering his manager words that reptiles need sunlight to maintain their health and vitality, thinking that Fafnir may be related to that. Soda wonders if Fafnir feels anything. She pointed out that her feelings get depressed lately. Soda pointed out it's not depression but feeling of tiredness, indicating that the sun doesn't come out much in the demon world, as the sun helps produce nutrients needed for the body, boosting her immunity and relieve stress. Fafnir doesn't understand his words fully, but all she knows it sounds good. He suddenly noticed Fafnir sweating so much because of the heat, as he tried explaining it, boosting her metabolism, suggesting to do it completely without clothes. She suddenly took all of her clothing in front of him, shocking Soda in the process. He questions Fafnir's actions, but she implied that she's only following his information, as she also explains to not show subordinates any signs of illness or inadequacy to the Demon King, which she prepares to become stronger physically and mentally, asking to be given more light. As Soda raised the sun near her, she started feeling weird, as the warmth spread through her, making her feel good. Soda, on the other hand, closed his eyes, listening to her words, as he is currently put in a serious situation where he doesn't have a choice of refusing. He chose to bear it and go along with her, although his focus went somewhere else as he opened his eyes. Fafnir is becoming more naughty, wanting to ask more warmth. Her complaints soon became more aggressive, which Soda apologizes and understood on focusing giving her warmth he maximizes. The output, making Fafnir tremble in heat, making the surroundings filled with steam almost like a sauna. He questions if this is enough to serve her Fafnir and what more he should do to make her happy. After a while, he stopped, which Fafnir is defenseless, wetting herself in the bed, which Soda is fine about it as he plans to lick the sweat afterwards when she left. He quickly found an item for the problem, absorbing the water as he serviced her back. Upon touching her skin, the excess sweat and water immediately became gone in an instant, giving her a sense of relief. Feeling amazing, he turned towards Soda, which he looks like he aged 100 years old and became an old man, showcasing being suck dry. The story about this item is he used to wet his bed as to why this creation is made. After recovering, Fafnir feels as if her body is reborn. Soda, on the other hand, is pleased as Fafnir's likability towards him increased. Fafnir, though, finds the situation on a human, once again solving her problem, which she quickly realized something as she found a perfect job befitting a servant, asking him to immediately open his shop, as his items would be perfect in helping demons. Soda thought this was a bad idea considering it's all demons and he's human. He only suggested introducing his items through Fafnir. Fafnir questions as to why she would do so, only for Soda to point out that she is his first demon customer he met as a human, although he won't force her. But Fafnir thought about this, giving in the decision mutually, although she can't make promises. Fafnir bids farewell, going back to her room, explaining that her room is next door, asking to not be woken up for simple things. Soda ponders he wants to improve her likability, but unexpectedly got physically close to one another. As Fafnir was walking in the hallway, still happy about the item she got, she suddenly got hold behind on her honkers, suddenly being angry about the encounter. We are then introduced to a bunny-eared complimenting Fafnir's great marshmallows.
We continue the story where Soda is excitedly preparing his open stall shop, placing the mats and his products. Welcoming his grand opening, he enthusiastically opened the store for his business. Although he ponders of starting out with so little stock, Fafnir came early in the morning, being surprised at the new products that are displayed. Fafnir's eye laid upon a gem that is super tough, nearing its familiarity with the diamond. She also wondered about the banana with the weird faces. Soda is proud to call these as the bro eyes. Upon hearing this, Fafnir became enraged, calling it all as garbage with no use. Soda profusely apologizes for the disappointment. Soda can't help it at all, as all of his items are basically level 1 stars. In his book, all of his items seem to have rarity levels, which right now he only has the merchant level of 1, so he could only manifest lower level items. If he needs to get higher rarity, he needs to raise his merchant level. He ponders if leveling up means selling more items, although is it possible to do it with the low rarity level items he has right now? Fafnir sees him hopelessly anxious at the ground, but she suddenly felt a dangerous presence behind her. She dodged this, which did damage towards Soda. We are then introduced to a cat-eared girl demon, as she laid flat with her thighs between his face, breathing in the heavenly juice of Narnia. Fafnir questioned if she was aiming to do something bad towards her, although she doesn't deny this, as she was just teasing her for a bit. As SH got up, Soda still couldn't believe the smell of the cooch of a cat-eared demon girl. She introduces herself with a cute roar. She named herself Ugaruru from the combat unit with large Voluptuous melons and a small cute face. This could easily be entered into a furry category waifu list. Soda is glad to meet her. She came over to check out the shop opening, coming here to play. Soda looks at the information book. Apparently she's a beastkin and a lion at that. She has a cheerful personality that hates losing, totally different from Fafnir, and much larger at that. Soda ponders if there's a lot of different types of demons. He also noticed that a lot of them are very cute. Ugaruru suddenly piqued her interest towards Soda. She questions if he wants to play with her figuratively, although Soda exclaims being a lowly merchant, but she seems surprised as she play with Fafnir all the time, giving the misunderstanding that she has fun with her nightly. Ugaruru suddenly has the idea of playing in the Demon's Lord's Castle Warrior training grounds. Here she gives off happiness like a child. She got scolded by Fafnir as Soda is supposed to be working and not to have a match with Ugaruru. She explained the rules, and as such he should avoid getting caught for 10 minutes. Soda accepted this request, although he ponders if he could use items. She agreed with Fafnir, being worried as she isn't an easy opponent as one seems. Soda is confident in winning, and it would be an embarrassment for a merchant to decline her requests. He also exclaims wanting to talk to more demons. Fafnir watched his skills silently activates, giving off the assurance that he didn't lie about his statement. Upon knowing this, her heart felt at ease. As the game starts, Ugaruru instantly teleported behind his back, shocking Fafnir and Soda. As he was about to attack, Soda instantly dodges and dashes fast. This made Ugaruru ponder if it's because of his items that a human like him could move instantly. Soda was all along wearing the light speed Gear Express shoes, giving humans the chance to run at the speed of light. The shoes' description is reaching destinations in the blink of an eye, never worrying about being late again. Soda revealed that he only made this due to his jealousy of the kids being popular due to their hastiness. Soda ponders about Ugaruru as she likes playing but hates losing. One of her specialty is agility, being confident that she could win. He ponders if beating her at her own game would make her recognize his value and skills as a merchant. Soda is overjoyed as this isn't just a game of tag but a chance to show his merchant skills to his customers. Ugaruru overheard the phrase of faster than anyone which pertains to her. This made Ugaruru pouts and enraged, exclaiming her anger towards Soda. She seems bothered as he is avoiding her attacks. Although Soda is dodging death at this point, she became even more serious now, running way faster. This made Soda to run rapidly out of control. Crashing into a pair of marshmallows, Soda didn't seem to see his way, bumping into Fafnir's marshmallows. Fafnir bushed at this sight, but Soda had other plans and touched the heavenly marshmallows unconsciously. Fafnir questions his actions, leaving Ugaruru to be filled with anger, seeing as she claims only having the marshmallows belonging to her. Soda took this chance to gain some distance. Although his boost seems to run out already as his legs are struggling, this ultimately left him with no abilities and being caught by Ugaruru. She claims checkmate, giving Soda to ponder all of his efforts going to waste, as he closes his eyes waiting for his loss. But she seems to stop. This confused Soda as she explains being her playthings means she would perform painful and fun things, and she won't intentionally stop their playtime that fast. Soda became anxious hearing this, as Ugaruru finds joy seeing his reaction as she wants to play more, getting excited imagining about the things they would do as more interesting things were about to be shown to Soda. He became scared all of a sudden, trying anything to distract her thoughts. Ugaruru saw his intentions of trying to run away, although she could see right through him. She extends her nails, tapping over his chest while pondering that she could figure him out easily and won't fall for his sweet talking at this point. She claims dominance over him, pinning him down, questioning his next course of actions. Fafnir is worried that her bad habit is showing again. This is due to Ugaruru not having any restraint, and nobody can stop her once she ends up like this. Soda is troubled, trying to find a way to get out of the situation. Although he ponders if his trash items could be much of help, Ugaruru is playing with Soda, teasing him. Fafnir questions her actions. On the other hand, Soda can't think straight much when Ugaruru talks in a cat-like voice. This gave Soda an idea that lions like her are basically large cats. Wanting to pull off his plans, he is up, showing her no resistance. Soda suddenly became confident in his abilities, wanting to show off his product demo, manifesting one of his skills, Arrow Eye Banana. He ate one of the bananas. This resulted his face becoming derpy, distracting Ugaruru, which he blinded with his item. With this, he managed to slip away at the scene at full speed. Ugaruru is confident catching up to him, even though he outran her. Soda instantly teleported behind her, shocking both Fafnir and Ugaruru with his godly skills. Soda became serious all of a sudden, seeing her as a big cat and knowing his weak points. He instantly activated his cat cafe manager skill. Soda instantly slapped her on the upper butt, giving Ugaruru a serious shock of a lifetime. This skill became handy as Soda learned this from his manager. With no way out of the situation, Soda instantly dominated Ugaruru, hitting her good spot. This resulted in Ugaruru becoming defeated in an instant. Soda gets smacked in the head for going too far as the time already ran out, pointing out his overboard. Fafnir held Soda high. He apologizes for going overboard due to him being in customer service mode and not noticing the situation. Ugaruru is satisfied having her first time being played with like that. Fafnir became enraged seeing as how Soda was getting stolen. But unbeknownst to them from a distance a blonde-haired demon woman was watching from afar. Seeing Soda is becoming ever closer with the demons. Later that evening a shadow lurks in the dead of night, where Soda awakes from a deep sleep only to find a woman sitting above him with a dark and scary expression on her face. He instantly screamed, shocking Fafnir over the next-door room. As she rushes towards Soda, she is shocked to find him with another woman in bed asking for help. A whole crowd of demons gathered to see the commotion. Back in the Dragon Unit's captain's office, Fafnir questions the situation, where Soda doesn't have a clue of the situation, waking up to find someone in front of him. The blonde demon girl was named Batty in the transport unit. She always helped soldiers transporting them and equipment with her teleportation magic. Soda ponders that her skills would be considered cheat skills, especially in isekai novels. Soda questions why was she in his bed. Fafnir demands an answer, asking Batty to explain herself the situation. It's revealed that Batty wants to become a proper succubus. She blushed upon hearing this, where Soda finds her not having that kind of look on her, although she seems to reveal herself under her robe showing the succubus body, having the crest on her stomach, although she ponders as it hasn't glowed yet, meaning she isn't fully considered a full-pledged succubus. Soda averts his eyes with a sharp gaze from Fafnir, questioning the exact requirements for it to glow. Batty revealed receiving a kiss from the opposite sex to fulfill their desire. Batty tried explaining but was stopped by Soda as he already knew this. Although he was expecting another nightly duties activity, this gave Fafnir second-hand embarrassment, steering away her gaze. Batty explained that she saw another of her kind initiating a kiss which resulted her crest glowing. Thus why Batty also infiltrated his room. She became gloomy seeing as she didn't really know what to do at that situation, but Soda questions why in particular she chose him, wondering if it's due to him being a human. Batty revealed seeing Soda playing with Fafnir's marshmallows and smacking Ugaruru's mountains. Seeing this she had a gaze of admiration towards him, having a lot of experience. Soda corrects her as it was just business. Shortly after Soda checked the magic book of personal information, Soda noticed that her worries of becoming an immature succubus. He ponders of helping her, but he's not sure if anything on his merchant items would be any of help towards her situation. He also is worried as he doesn't have any experience with this kind of things, which he finds himself at a loss. Fafnir approached Soda questioning if he doesn't have any items in mind to help Batty out. Fafnir asks him to help her out as best as he could. She explains that Batty is embarrassed about her own inexperience. This ultimately weighed on her mind, although she wants to encourage however she could, but she noticed that it hasn't been helping as lately she's been smiling a lot less. Fafnir as the captain wants the best for her soldiers. Soda exclaims of helping her with Batty. With confidence he agrees, seeing as how Fafnir cares about her subordinates pretty well. They had a sit-down where Batty doesn't fully understand how to kiss someone. With the small details going over on her head she became confused. Batty questioned Fafnir, not being prepared with the answer. Batty hinted that she would use them for an example. Soda denies, resulting Fafnir to be enraged, asking if he disgusts her that much. With the misunderstanding happening, Batty became gloomy, apologizing for the weird question. Fafnir demands doing it with Soda, but he exclaims not being able to take on a cute girl like her. This made Fafnir blush. She whispered to him, asking to have some pretending kiss scene. Batty eagerly waited as the two started to initiate the process. Batty watched closely, whereas their mouth seems to close into one another. Soda gets immediately smacked in the process, as she exclaims of not kissing anyone before. Shortly after they compose themselves. Batty is surprised they haven't kissed anyone before. Soda is also troubled as he doesn't talk to girls normally, which upon thinking for a second he instantly had the idea of bringing an item from the shop. Soda pulled out a spray of shamelessness. With this item he could say goodbye to the part of their own shame, making an individual gain confidence and lose the embarrassment. Soda excitedly read the manual, but Fafnir, not listening, sprayed way too much on herself. This resulted giving Fafnir the sudden urge to kiss Soda. She insisted doing so right away, slamming Soda against the wall. She sees Soda as a man, asking him to get his act together, questioning if he really does hate kissing her that much. As they got close to one another, Soda held Fafnir's face, seeing as she was willing to go far, as this moment should be saved to someone she actually likes. Fafnir became shocked, stopping suddenly. Soda explains that her first kiss is special after all, and it would be waste to do it someone like him. Fafnir became enraged seeing as how she became excited due to his words. Batty sees this as her captain never showed any weakness and is always a dependable boss, but right now she sees her in a new light being so innocent and daring. She then had the bright idea of spraying herself with the item. Soda stopped Batty awaiting for her reaction, but unexpectedly she was crying herself out. It's then revealed that Batty was holding on back on her tears all this time, where it's showing that these feelings right now is what she was ashamed of. Batty always looking up to work with Fafnir and practicing so much, it wasn't enough for the other succubus to make fun of her, working hard for the sake of the demon realm. With so much of her hard work in the end she can't change the fact she is a succubus. She shouted her feelings and frustration but was stopped by Fafnir calling her out for being stupid, not seeing her own strengths. She compliments her being a hard worker, putting her sweat and blood. She claimed Batty of being a strong demon, exclaiming that where she's mature or not it shouldn't matter as they fully recognize her value. Fafnir comforted her, made sure to point out that she has worked tirelessly. Batty suddenly felt a sudden urge of lightning. With this Batty's crest glowed, resulting in her becoming a mature succubus all of a sudden. It not makes sense that her crest requirements was pertaining to satisfy their desires, as every individual has one. Batty exclaims happiness, hugging Fafnir, filled with satisfaction knowing that she has finally enough confidence and value on herself. As Batty was bidding farewell and getting to know her more, she thanked him properly, calling Soda like an older brother of hers. Fafnir showed appreciation towards Soda, although humble as he exclaims lacking the ability this time. Fafnir disagrees as not only his items, but also abilities that helped to solve the problem at hand. Fafnir became embarrassed with her words bidding farewell. This made Soda to also make his heart skip a beat. The two bid goodnight, where Soda suddenly got a notification as his merchant level increased all of a sudden. We are then revealed shortly to a demon sitting in a throne, talking about Soda's items, as they have been getting reports of strange items. This made the demon exclaims that it's intriguing to see this. It's then revealed that the demon lord makes an appearance, where it could spell trouble for Soda or not. As the demon lord wants to meet and have a snack to go with her drink, asking her servants to summon Soda at once. While Soda was oblivious to this, he admired his merchant skill level rising. This result came due to customers' favorability increasing, which Soda finally get the gist of it, seeing as all three of them having more favorability towards Soda. This made him happy, but he noticed that he himself is getting smelly. He approached Fafnir if there is a bath to cleanse himself. Soda gets lead into a hot spring. Seeing this made him excited, where Ugaruru is also tagging along as things seems interesting. She immediately took her clothes off, shocking Soda, and Fafnir giving her a scolding. Ugaruru sees this as Fafnir is overly conscious of him, being embarrassed getting seen, as she never thought Fafnir of the dragon unit would be afraid showing her bare skin with a human. Her words frustrated Fafnir, as she is right about her. Soda seemingly out of nowhere gets surprised as Fafnir and Ugaruru is boldly showing themselves to him. Fafnir asks that he should also do the same, giving him a scary gaze as he also should do the same. They enjoyed the hot springs together, but this left Soda to be flustered in an awkward position as he seemingly can't look at them without any other thoughts. Ugaruru questions if he has any other fun items for taking a bath. This gave him the sudden idea on his book where he manifested baby bubbles. He briefly explained that the purpose of this was to make one's skin in a soft and glossy state. Fafnir and Ugaruru played with one another, scrubbing each other with the magical soap item, leaving Soda to silently peek at them. Fafnir seems to reach her limit, suddenly becoming angry. She seemingly reverted to her childlike form. They look to each other with confusion as the item seemingly makes them revert to their childhood. Soda played along, making Fafnir happy. Ugaruru also insists, as she also got affected by the magical item. Soda keeps the two entertained, making soap horns impressing the two. Soda slaps himself, exclaiming to keep it straight. Ugaruru seems to ask that she plays with her, but Fafnir intervenes to be the one Soda keeps entertained. The two fight over Soda, pushing their marshmallows towards his arms. Soda feels like heaven as he has never experienced two women pushing up against him. At this point he doesn't know what will happen. He then gets faced with a hard question, pondering if which one of the two he would be playing with. Soda finds the situation bad once again as he needs to keep calm and keep it together. For a brief moment things suddenly went quiet. It's then revealed that Fafnir and Ugaruru collapsed due to the heat. In this land where demons and humans opposed one another, the demon realm seems active and full of activities. We then peek inside the Dragon Unit commander's office. Being the captain of the Dragon Unit, she eagerly wakes up early, giving it her all with a morning exercise. As she finishes her training, she felt the urge of energy as her body is feeling well. It was all thanks to the Sun magic item. Feeling warm and cozy inside his room, she felt relaxed, not wanting to move. But a sudden knock could be heard. It's then revealed that sightings of humans hunting magical beasts are spotted in the eastern forest. Upon hearing this, she eagerly hurried over to stop their kidnappings. Inside the demon forest, a magical beast is caught in a rope trap. As the human gather over to cage the magical beast, Fafnir immediately caught them by surprise. The human hunters became terrified, trying to run away from the demons, but due to the lack of strength they became powerless. Defeated in an instant, Fafnir gathered the last remaining hunters. It's then revealed that magical beasts sell for a higher price in the human realm, transporting them alive. As they freed up the caught beasts, the humans are then tied up to be captured. Fafnir is worried as the number of humans invading their lands has increased lately, although upon a closer look the human hunters are not very well dressed, indicating they are lower class. She questioned why would they go so far to capture them. A sudden noise could be heard as one of the humans managed to escape in hiding. As he flees, Fafnir's group stopped, as the cat demon already caught the human hunter quickly. Ugaruru saved Fafnir's as she arrived just in time. She praises the magical shoes she got from Sutta. As they rounded the humans together, Ugaruru ponders what should they do with them. The humans became terrified, fearing their life might end, although it's unforgivable they were trespassing. But Fafnir stopped her, as this time they just planned on letting them go outside the forest. As the demon lord doesn't like senseless killing, Ugaruru seems uninterested with the idea, as they might just come back again. Fafnir, hearing this, threatened that if they ever came back their heads will roll. Batty was called in to transport the humans outside the forest with her magical powers. As they got transported, Fafnir warned them, which indicates that they were spared this time. Fafnir is surprised as Batty seems to have her abilities improved, being able to send them far away. She displayed happiness as of late she became a full-fledged succubus. Ugaruru, on the other hand, is hungry and wants to head home for the meantime. Upon being back at the castle, Fafnir is overloaded with work. Upon being able to finish it early, she noticed herself becoming sweaty. It seems she forgot to put on the cream after her training. With her becoming more busy, she didn't have time to do so. Upon applying it all over, she ponders about the first item Sutta gave it to her. She tried imitating the massage she got from him, but it was much stronger. She fantasizes about his muscular and big hands. She vividly remembered they were warmer and wrapping around her even more. At first meeting she couldn't trust Sutta, but gradually she saw more in him trying to help out the demons, so she started listening more. But even though he was always extending his hand, she ponders if she could really do so from the bottom of her heart. She suddenly hit the climax of the story, shivering in excitement. As she finishes off, she questioned what was her actions and her hands are doing. Her self-time got interrupted as a knock from the door came, and upon opening it they shortly arrived to Sutta, where the demon lord's secretary wishes to meet the prisoner Sutta. It's then revealed that Fafnir and Sutta has been summoned by the demon lord. The secretary asks that he must not make a fool of himself. Hearing this made his chest heavy, full of fear and excitement, as he finally gets to meet the final boss.